Picture this situation, my friend. There is a veteran safety on an AFC roster right now who is in the final year of his contract, who was recently voted one of the 15 best players at his position in an anonymous ESPN poll of scouts, executives, and coaches, and who completely disappeared from his own team's offseason program. He did not show up for the voluntary activities. He did not show up for mandatory minicamp. And when his coordinator was asked directly what was going on, the answer was one of those responses that explains absolutely nothing. Now pair that with another fact. The Philadelphia Eagles lost a starter in their secondary this offseason and walk into training camp with a giant question mark at exactly that position, safety. Do you already see where this story is heading? In this video, I am going to explain who this player is, why he became a perfectly logical trade idea for Philadelphia, what he costs in salary cap space, and why there is a very real chance this deal never gets off the ground. If you are a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because a veteran trade before training camp is exactly the kind of move that appears out of nowhere and changes the face of an entire defense. Here is the deal. Heading into the 2026 season, the biggest question marks for the Eagles are on the offensive side of the ball. The defense was by far the strongest part of this team in the season following the Super Bowl title, and it was not particularly close. But success brings change, and Philadelphia lost Reed Blankenship, who signed a 3-year contract worth roughly $24 million with the Houston Texans. With number 32 gone, safety became the biggest question mark on the roster. And that is exactly why Jimmy Kempski of PhillyVoice put together a list of possible pre-camp trade targets and included a name that makes a whole lot of sense: Cleveland Browns safety Grant Delpit. Let us first understand who this player is, because a lot of people know the name and do not know the road he traveled. Delpit is 27 years old and turns 28 in September. He was selected by the Browns in the second round of the 2020 draft, 44th overall, out of Louisiana State University. And his introduction to this league was a nightmare. He missed his entire rookie season because of a non-contact torn Achilles suffered during the summer. Losing your entire first year is usually a death sentence for a second-round pick. For him, it was not. Delpit came back and turned himself into a full-time starter. Over the following 5 years, he appeared in 78 games and started all but 10 of them. For his career, that is 451 total tackles, 21 passes broken up, and 7 interceptions. The big leap came in 2022, when he started 16 games, cleared 100 combined tackles, and recorded 4 interceptions and 10 pass breakups. That was the season that justified the contract extension he signed in December of 2023. And here is what makes this interesting. His production has not fallen off. In the 2025 season, Delpit put up 89 tackles across 17 games, along with a career-high 3 sacks and 1 interception. In other words, we are talking about a safety who plays every single game, produces a high tackle volume, attacks the line of scrimmage, and still delivers plays on the ball. How many teams in the National Football League would not want exactly that profile on their roster? So why would Cleveland part with him? The answer has 3 layers, and all of them make sense. The first is that the Browns have a talented young safety in Ronnie Hickman, and they also spent a pick in the 2026 draft on Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. In other words, there is a ready-made, cheaper replacement already in the building. The second layer is contractual. Delpit is in the final year of the 3-year, $36 million deal he signed in December of 2023, carrying a salary cap hit of roughly $8 million in 2026, a base salary of just over $1.2 million, and he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2027. And the third layer is the harshest of them all. According to Kempski, he looks like a player unlikely to re-sign in Cleveland, on a team that is nowhere remotely close to Super Bowl contention. In that scenario, getting something for him now beats losing him for nothing later. And there is a precedent that reinforces that red. Browns general manager Andrew Berry has done exactly this before. When Amari Cooper was in the final year of his deal and wanted a new contract, Cleveland traded him and got whatever they could. When they decided they were not going to pay Greg Newsome, they traded him too. There is a behavioral pattern here, and behavioral patterns in roster management are rarely a coincidence. And there is one contractual detail almost nobody talks about that is decisive in this whole equation. Delpit's deal was built with void years, those contract years that exist purely to spread out cap charges and do not represent actual seasons of football. According to Over the Cap, if that contract simply expires the way it is currently scheduled, right around February of next year, Cleveland eats a hit of roughly $16.9 million in dead money against their 2027 salary cap. And there is more. Spotrac projects his market value at around $8.8 million per season, meaning below what he costs right now. This is a classic financial trap, and a financial trap tends to accelerate decisions nobody wanted to make. Now let us move to the Philadelphia side, because that is where the piece fits. The Eagles' safety room right now is thin. The main hope is that Andrew Mukuba takes the leap in year 2. And look, there is real reason for optimism. A second-round pick, 64th overall. Mukuba appeared in 11 games with 10 starts in his rookie season and put up 46 tackles, 2 interceptions, 3 pass breakups, and half a sack before fracturing his ankle in November in Dallas, in a collision with a teammate. He was back practicing during the spring activities, and the expectation is that he will be at 100% when training camp opens. Alongside him, the Eagles are counting on Marcus Epps and Michael Carter to take on roles, while also considering using Cooper DeJean as a flexible piece in the secondary. And that is exactly where the strongest argument in this entire story lies. If Philadelphia can add somebody like Delpit, the team gains the ability to keep DeJean exactly where he is devastating, in the slot, instead of having to pull him back to plug a hole. Would you rather have a team that plugs holes, or a team that puts every piece in the best possible place? Think about the alignment that would create. Mukuba as a rising starting safety, Delpit as the experienced and productive veteran on the other side, DeJean free to wreck things from the inside, and Vic Fangio with total freedom to vary his defensive packages without improvising. For a defense that was already the best part of this team, that would not be a patch job. That would be a genuine upgrade. Now, to be fair and transparent, it is essential to hit the brakes here with total clarity. First, there is no report indicating the Eagles and the Browns have spoken about this. None whatsoever. What exists is a suggestion from a respected columnist, published on July 23rd, inside a list of trade ideas. An editorial suggestion is not a negotiation, and a negotiation is not a completed deal. Second, there is an important detail on the Cleveland side that seriously complicates the whole thesis. Delpit did not take part in either the Browns' voluntary activities or their mandatory minicamp, and when asked about the reason, the team's defensive pass game coordinator, Ephraim Banda, declined to comment on the nature of injuries, though he did praise the players' communication throughout the offseason. Reporters who cover the team closely denied that this was any kind of contract protest, and there have even been reports that Cleveland is interested in extending his deal rather than trading him, meaning he may not even be available. Third, the price. A safety with proven production, even in the final year of his contract, does not come for free. Philadelphia would have to give up draft capital and absorb the salary on top of it. And remember that this franchise has already had an eventful offseason, with plenty of signings and roster reshaping. Is there financial appetite for one more well-paid veteran? And fourth, the point that might be the most honest of them all. What if Mukuba is simply good? His rookie production was solid before the injury, and he finished the season with more tackles for loss than Blankenship himself. Making a trade right now, spending draft picks, would be an admission that the team does not trust its own second-round investment from just 1 year ago. That is a heavy internal message, and Howie Roseman understands that better than anyone. With a defense that was already the best part of this team, with a 27-year-old safety who is available in theory and locked down in practice, and with a young talent who could either explode or fall short, would you make this trade? And how much would you pay? A third-round pick, a fourth-rounder, or nothing at all? Because you believe Andrew Mukuba solves this all by himself? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to update you with the latest Eagles news.